Kofi was kissing a woman in front of the whole village, and Amma's heart shattered when she saw the ring. The basin slipped from Amma's hands and exploded against the ground. 5 years. She turned down the chief's son, the teacher from Kara, the doctor who promised her a house in Accra, all for Kofi, all for the boy who carved her name into the baobab tree and swore before the ancestors he'd return. The woman beside him tossed her Brazilian weave and looked at the village children like they carried disease. Then Mama Essie made a sound, a wounded animal cry that froze every woman in the compound. Because a mother knows when her son has betrayed everything she taught him. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens in the next 18 minutes will show you why sometimes losing the man is how a woman finds herself, and the ending. Nobody sees it coming. Kofi's Aunt Afua pushed through the gathering crowd, her wrapper sliding off her shoulder. Kofi, what is this? What kind of foolishness? She pointed a trembling finger at the woman in designer sunglasses. Didn't you promise Amma under the baobab tree? Didn't the elders bless you both with palm wine? The woman stepped forward, her heels sinking into the red earth. I'm Delali, his fiancée. She lifted her left hand, letting the diamond catch the afternoon sun. We're getting married in December at the Radisson Blue in Lemay. Gasps rippled through the compound. Amma's mother, Ajoa, wrapped her cloth tighter around her chest and turned her back. The other village women closed ranks around Amma, their silence louder than any scream. Amma stood perfectly still, her fingers digging into her palms until she felt blood. She would not cry, not here, not in front of everyone who had watched her wait, who had pitied her faithfulness. Amma, Kofi's voice cracked. He looked different, softer around the middle, his skin lighter from staying indoors, his accent polished smooth. I should have written. I meant to things. They changed. Changed? Mama Essie's voice cut through the compound like a machete. She moved toward her son, and for a moment, Amma thought the older woman might embrace him. Instead, Mama Essie's hand flew across Kofi's face with a crack that made children jump. You made a promise before God and the ancestors. Mama Essie's chest heaved. What kind of man are you? What kind of son did I raise? Delali's perfectly shaped eyebrows shot up. Excuse me, we're in 2026. Nobody does these arranged village marriages anymore. That's so outdated. Amma's brother Quame lunged forward, his farming machete still strapped to his waist. Say that again. Say one more disrespectful thing about our sister. Two of Kofi's uncles grabbed Quame's arms. The village chief, Papa Mensa, stepped between them, his walking stick raised. Enough! This is not how we handle things. But Amma had heard enough. She lifted her chin and looked directly at Kofi for the first time. His eyes were the same, that warm brown she used to dream about, but everything behind them had gone cold. It's fine, she said, her voice steady even as her hands shook. He's shown me exactly who he is. She turned and walked toward her compound, her bare feet steady on the familiar path. The village women fell in behind her like a protective shield, and someone, probably old Mama Yawa, started humming a new morning song. The sound wrapped around Amma like her mother's arms used to when she was small. Behind her, she heard Aunt Afua's voice rising again. That girl rejected the chief's son for you. Turned down teacher Kajo, who has a good job in Kara. Even Dr. Mensa from Accra wanted to marry her, and she said no because she believed you would come back. Amma didn't turn around, but what she didn't know yet was that this public humiliation would become her greatest freedom. The next morning, Amma woke to angry voices carrying across the compound. She recognized Mama Essie's sharp tone and Kofi's defensive responses. I need my own space. That was Delali, her city accent making each word sound clipped. These rooms are too small, too hot. Don't you people have air conditioning? Amma dressed quickly and headed to her farm. The cassava needed harvesting, and work had always been her refuge. Her hands knew what to do even when her mind couldn't think straight. By noon, the village was buzzing with new outrages. Delali had refused to greet the elders properly, hadn't knelt, had used her left hand to receive their gifts of welcome. When the village women brought concont and groundnut soup for breakfast, she'd laughed. "What even is this?" Delali had said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I only eat food I can Google the calories for." Amma heard about it from the women who came to help her harvest. They sat in the shade of her palm trees, their hands busy shelling palm nuts while their tongues worked faster. "She's posting everything on that Instagram," Mama Comfort said, shaking her head. "Making fun of us. I saw it on my daughter's phone. No Wi-Fi, no running water, literally living in 1924. She put those laughing faces." "Kofi brought shame twice," old Mama Yawa added. "Once by breaking his promise, twice by bringing a woman who mocks the people who raised him." Amma said nothing. She focused on the rhythm of her work, the satisfying thunk of cassava hitting the basket. Her brother Quame appeared at the farm's edge, his face dark with anger. "Let me go to LeMay," he said without preamble. "Let me show him what happens when you disrespect our family." "No," Amma didn't look up from her work. "Let him see who he chose, that's punishment enough." "Ahmed." "I said no, Quame. Violence won't heal this. It won't change anything." What she didn't say was that her heart was already starting to feel lighter. The weight of waiting, 5 years of putting her life on hold, was beginning to lift. In its place was something unexpected, possibility. That evening the screaming started. Amma was walking back from her farm when she heard Mama Essie's voice rise, and then suddenly cut off. She dropped her basket and ran toward Kofi's compound, arriving just as the older woman collapsed. "Mama!" Kofi caught his mother before she hit the ground. Her eyes had rolled back and her skin burned with fever. Within minutes, Tog Kasi, the village herbalist, was kneeling beside Mama Essie. He pressed his fingers to her wrist, studied her eyes, and shook his head slowly. "Her spirit is wounded deep," he said. "The ancestors are angry. Medicine alone won't heal this. Someone must tend her day and night with the old songs and the old ways." Delali stood in the doorway, her arms crossed. "This is ridiculous. She needs a real hospital. Oh right, you don't have one." She pulled out her phone. "I'm booking a hotel in town. There's no way I'm staying here for this situation." Kofi looked between his unconscious mother and his fiancée. "Delali, please. Just 3 days until she's stable." 3 days. Delali's laugh was sharp. "Our engagement dinner is in 5 days in LeMay. You have clients to meet. Your boss expects you back." She started scrolling on her phone. "I'm leaving in the morning. Stay if you want, but choose wisely." The next morning, Amma watched from her doorway as Delali's car disappeared down the dirt road, leaving Kofi standing in a cloud of red dust. But what happened next shocked everyone, including Amma herself. That evening, Amma appeared at Mama Essie's bedside with a basket of herbs. Neem leaves for fever, moringa root for strength, and special bark that only grew by the sacred grove. She didn't look at Kofi, didn't acknowledge his presence in the doorway. She spoke only to the unconscious woman on the mat. "Mama, I'm here. You loved me when I had nothing. Let me care for you now." Kofi stepped forward. "Amma, you don't have to. I'm not doing this for you." Her voice was ice. She began grinding the herbs, her movements practiced and sure. "I'm doing it for the woman who chose to love me when her son chose to forget me." Other village women arrived. Mama Comfort with clean cloths, Mama Yawa with special roots, younger women with water from the sacred stream. They formed a circle around Mama Essie, and someone began singing. The old healing songs, passed down from grandmothers to mothers to daughters, songs that held power in their rhythm. Kofi stood outside the hut, barred from entering by the wall of women. Through the doorway, he watched Amma work, her hands gentle as she bathed his mother's forehead, her voice clear as she sang the old words he'd forgotten. His Aunt Afua found him there at midnight. She pressed something small into his palm. The bracelet, the one Amma had woven from cotton she'd grown herself. She remade this 3 years ago, Afua said quietly. Gave it to your mother to remember her by. Even after your letters stopped coming, that girl never stopped loving this family. Kofi's hands shook as he held the bracelet. The cotton was soft, worn from his mother's fingers touching it. He could picture Amma sitting under the stars, weaving each strand with hope and love and faithfulness he'd thrown away for what? For Delali's designer dresses and cold laughter. On the third night, Mama Essie opened her eyes. The first face she saw was Amma's. My daughter, the old woman's voice was weak but clear, you stayed. Kofi tried to enter the hut. Mama, I'm here. Amma finally looked at him. Her eyes held no anger, no pain, just a terrible, peaceful distance. I didn't do this for you. I did it for the woman who chose to love me when her son chose to forget me. He wanted to speak, to apologize, to beg, but his phone rang. The screen showed Delali's father's name. And everything Kofi thought he'd built was about to come crashing down. Kofi stepped outside to take the call. The night air felt thick, pressing against his chest. Mr. Mensah speaking. Young man, I'm calling as a courtesy. Delali's father's voice was polite, almost bored. My daughter is engaged to someone else. The wedding is next month. I thought you should know before you heard it elsewhere. The world tilted. What? I'm engaged to her. We're having a dinner in 3 days. The man laughed, genuinely amused. Engaged to you, son, you were. What do the young people call it? A situationship. She's marrying the deputy minister's son. The families have been planning this for 8 months. 8 months, but we've been together for. Look, I don't know what my daughter told you, but this other match has been arranged since she was young. You were never in the picture, not seriously. A pause. I do apologize if there was confusion. Goodbye now. The line went dead. Kofi's hands trembled as he dialed Delali. She answered on the third ring, music and laughter in the background. Oh, you found out, Daddy told you. She wasn't even pretending to sound sorry. Look, it was fun while it lasted, Kofi. Fun, Delali, you said you loved me, you said. Oh, come on, be realistic. You're a village boy with an office job. I'm marrying into politics. You were never going to be enough. Her voice hardened. It was always temporary. I thought you understood that, by now. She hung up. When he tried to call back, he'd been blocked. His cousin's message arrived 10 minutes later. A video link with the words, Bro, I'm so sorry. Kofi pressed play with shaking fingers. The video showed Delali and her friends at an upscale restaurant in Lemay. The phone was propped against a wine bottle, catching everything. Delali was laughing, her face flushed with champagne. Girl, the village boy still thinks we're getting married. I can't. I literally can't tell him yet. It's too funny. Her friend leaned in. How much longer you gonna keep him? Until after this village trip. I need content for my Slumming It series on Instagram. My followers are eating it up. Delali raised her glass. To love in the time of poverty. They clinked glasses, laughing. The video had 50,000 views. The comments were brutal. Village boy really thought he had a chance. She's doing charity work, dadding down like that. His ancestors are crying. Kofi's legs gave out. He sat in the dirt outside his mother's hut, the phone falling from his hands. By morning, everyone knew. Aunt Afua's daughter in Lemay had seen the video and sent it home. The village elders gathered at dawn, their faces grave. Some people pitied Kofi. Most said he'd earned it. Mama Essie, now sitting up and sipping Amma's herbal tea, called her son inside. Her eyes held disappointment deeper than anger. My son, she said softly, you threw away gold for painted tin, and now you have nothing but shame in 2 worlds, the one you left and the one that never wanted you. Kofi knelt beside her mat, tears streaming down his face. Mama, I'm so sorry, I'm so. Don't apologize to me. Mama Essie looked toward the doorway where Amma was quietly gathering her healing herbs. Apologize to the girl who waited 5 years while you learned to be ashamed of where you came from. But Amma was already leaving, her basket balanced on her head, her back straight and proud. And Kofi realized that sorry wasn't going to be enough. Nothing was going to be enough. The question was, what would he do now? At sunset, Kofi walked to the baobab tree. The tree where he'd carved Amma's name when they were 15, where he'd promised her forever before the ancestors. Word spread fast, it always did in the village. By the time Kofi knelt in the red dust, the entire village had gathered. Children perched in trees, elders sat on stools, women stopped their cooking, men left their palm wine. Everyone came to witness. Amma arrived last, flanked by her mother and the other village women. She looked tired but steady, her simple cloth wrapped with quiet dignity. Kofi's voice cracked when he spoke. "I don't deserve to speak your name. I don't deserve to breathe the same air as you." He pressed his forehead to the ground. "But I need to say this before everyone who saw me make my promise and watched me break it." The village held its breath. I was ashamed. Kofi lifted his head, tears streaming. Ashamed of the red mud on my shoes, ashamed of the village in my accent, ashamed of everything that made me who I am. He looked around at the faces watching him, faces that had known him since birth, had celebrated his successes, had prayed for his future. I thought becoming someone else would make me somebody. I thought if I could just erase this place from my voice, from my clothes, from my story, I'd finally matter. His laugh was bitter. Instead, I became nothing, less than nothing. Anafua wiped her eyes. Papa Mensa, the chief, leaned forward on his walking stick. "Delali didn't break me," Kofi continued. "I broke myself the day I believed that forgetting my home would make me bigger. The day I looked at Amma," his voice cracked again, "and decided she wasn't enough. Not because of anything she lacked, but because I was too blind to see that she was everything." He turned to face Amma directly. "You waited 5 years for a man who doesn't exist anymore. That man, the one who loved you purely, who knew the value of a promise, he died in Lemay. And he bowed his head. "I'm not worthy to resurrect him." The silence stretched. Even the children stopped fidgeting. Then Amma stepped forward. "Kofi," her voice was clear and calm, "you're right about one thing, you're not the man I waited for." Pain flashed across his face, but she continued. "That man had honor. That man knew the difference between progress and pretending. That man understood that education should open your mind, not close your heart." She looked around at the gathered village. "But you know what? I was a fool too." Murmurs of surprise rippled through the crowd. "I spent 5 years waiting for you to complete me, waiting for you to build me that house with the blue roof I always dreamed about, waiting for you to make my life mean something." She laughed softly, and there was no bitterness in it. "And then you came back with that woman, and you know what I felt after the pain passed? Relief." Kofi's eyes widened. "Relief," Amma repeated, "because I finally saw the truth. I've been waiting for the wrong thing all along." She looked at him with something like pity. "Thank you, Kofi, truly. Thank you for not coming back sooner." And what she revealed next left everyone, including Kofi, completely speechless. "While you were in Lemay learning to be ashamed of us," Amma said, her voice growing stronger, "I was here learning something else." She held up her hands, calloused from work, strong from years of farming. "These hands can plant cassava, harvest palm nuts, and run a business. These hands don't need anyone else's to build something real." Mama Comfort started nodding, a smile breaking across her face. "I started a palm oil cooperative with 12 village women," Amma continued. "We supply 3 markets in Kara and 2 in Sakode. We've saved enough money to buy processing equipment, to hire workers." She looked around at the women who'd supported her, who'd rallied around her. "We did that, together. While I was waiting for you, I was also building something you never could have given me: independence." The village women began ululating, the sound rising like birdsong. "I've been accepted to Teachers' College on scholarship," Amma said. "I leave next week. They want me to develop their agricultural education program after I graduate." Kofi's face showed pure shock. His mother, Mama Essie, pressed her hands to her mouth, tears streaming. "And that house you promised me," Amma's voice dropped, intimate and powerful, "with the blue roof I always wanted." She turned and pointed toward the hill behind the village. Through the palm trees, catching the last rays of sunset, was a small house, with a bright blue roof. The gasps were audible now. Even Papa Mensa stood up to see better. "I built it," Amma said simply. "Brick by brick, the roof you promised. I gave it to myself. I'm staying there tonight, and tomorrow I'm filling it with furniture I bought with money I earned. And next week I'm locking that door and going to make something of my life, not because a man told me I could, but because I told myself I would." The village erupted. Women were crying, ululating, dancing. Young girls looked at Amma like she'd just shown them a new future. Even some of the men were nodding, impressed despite themselves. Amma looked down at Kofi, still kneeling in the dust. "So thank you for breaking your promise, because waiting for you taught me the most important lesson of my life." She leaned down, her voice soft enough that only he could hear. "The only person worth waiting for is the person I see in the mirror." She straightened up. "I hope you find yourself, Kofi, I really do, but you'll have to do it without me." She walked away, head high, women surrounding her like a victorious army. The young girls followed, chanting her name. The whole village seemed to move with her, toward her house with the blue roof that proved she'd never needed saving. Kofi remained kneeling, broken but somehow witnessing something sacred. "I came home to ask forgiveness," he whispered to the dust. "Instead, I witnessed a queen." Mama Essie helped her son stand. She cupped his face in her worn hands. "My son, you lost a wife, but maybe if you're willing to do the work you can find yourself. Stay here, work the farm, learn again what it means to keep promises." She kissed his forehead. "Start by being a man this village can be proud of. Start by becoming someone you can be proud of." The day before Amma left for Teachers' College, the market was busier than usual. Everyone wanted to say goodbye, to wish her well, to touch the hem of the success she'd woven from heartbreak. Kofi was there too, in simple farm clothes, selling yams from his mother's farm. He'd stayed in the village, worked the land with humility, helped the elders with projects. He didn't speak much, just worked, just tried to remember who he used to be before he forgot. Amma arrived in a simple but new dress, picking up supplies for school. Their eyes met across the market, across the distance of everything that had happened, everything that would never be. He nodded, respect, apology, release. She nodded back, forgiveness, goodbye, freedom. No words were needed. Some conversations happen in silence. She climbed into the trotro heading to Kara, her future packed in one bag, her heart packed with lessons earned. Kofi watched her go, then returned to his yams. The work of becoming himself again would take years, maybe a lifetime. That evening, village women gathered to pound fufu. Aunt Afua couldn't help herself. "Did you hear? That Delali, her wedding was called off. The deputy minister's son caught her with another man." Mama Comfort laughed, and Amma. "The college already wants her to lead their agricultural program after graduation." "Lead it. My daughter said they've never seen someone so young with such good ideas." The women laughed, the sound mixing with the rhythm of the pestle hitting the mortar. Mama Essie sat in her doorway, looking toward the hill where Amma's blue roof caught the last light. Then she looked at her son, sweating over the yam harvest, relearning humility row by row. She smiled, painful but proud. "Sometimes," she said to no one in particular, "the ancestors answer prayers in ways we don't expect. Both of them are finding their way home, just not to each other." The pestle hit the mortar. The sun set. Life went on, richer than before, because sometimes the greatest love story is the one you write with yourself. So here's what I need to know. Should Amma have given Kofi a second chance? Or was walking away the most powerful choice she could make? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to hear every opinion. And if this story reminded you that your worth isn't determined by who chooses you, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell.